Hello. Welcome back. I don't know. I wasn't meaning to be creepy there. I was meaning to be dramatic. Oh well. Yeah, we're back. We're back. Time to unmute.
I'm just gonna roll physical dice, since
Fair.
Math rocks.
The lag. Such a
Number rocks. Number rocks. Number rocks. Number rocks.
Hello.
Hello. It has been a while.
Yeah, life
Been a
stuff and
while.
lack of spoons.
Been a while.
Yep.
But
Not
we're
blaming
back.
anyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the blame. It was me.
It was also me.
Fair enough. But yeah, we're back. Are you ready to jump back into the game?
Yeah.
Ready to rock and roll.
All right.
Let's rock.
Math rock and
Exactly.
roll. I'm sorry.
Last time on Tipping the Scales, it was actually quite simple. The party infiltrated the mine, took out some more robots, and then, thinking it was over, we're faced by the robot's leader, one Armament. Well, I don't know if the party knows his name.
I'm fairly certain we don't.
Still, I mean, that's fun. The players can know the name because I love Armament as an
Yeah.
NPC, but the party doesn't know his name technically.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I mean,
yeah. They just know him as that one asshole.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't even think that Mina and Ember realize he's a robot.
Bazap.
He just armor dude. But yeah, we pick up in the aftermath of that. I believe.
I blasted him with lightning.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it was discussed that you all were going to gather all of the constructs together and then use Shatter.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that is actually where the last session ended.
Ah, okay.
I did go back and check, so basically we did the shatter, so yeah.
I think, because you all discussed you were definitely gonna sleep after that, so we'll pick up where you all are dreaming. We zoom in and we see the party all asleep. And could I get between Ember, Mina, and Jared, each of you roll a d20 to see who goes first. Eni has some special stuff.
You got it, boss.
Well, I guess I'm going last.
I got a 16, so I'm going second.
All right,
Big 18.
18. Since I discussed this with the players behind the scenes, since Mina's conflicts are mostly external, I have a few fun possibilities. If I could get a d4 for Mina's dream. Because Mina's dream is not going to be too introspective. 3. Mina, your dream, you find yourself back at... Is it home, or is it just the place you grew up? Your
Place she
parents...
grew up.
Exactly. Your parents are there, and the house is immaculate. Everything in its place. They're moving with a almost rehearsed efficiency. But then you're sitting at the dinner table. Where their dishes are laid out perfectly as you would see at some fancy noble's party, even though you're just commoners. Yours are kind of everywhere. I think... I was gonna describe hair, but then I remembered Ganassi, so...
Oh no, she does have hair.
Okay.
Long black hair with basically streaks of what would be lightning in white.
I have seen 2 campaigns with Ganassi, and both of them were weird hair stuff, so apologies for assuming.
All good.
Yeah, it's basically, there's kind of a radius around you where everything is a mess, but outside that radius, everything is perfect. What do Mina's parents look like?
Classic elves.
Mina was one of the elemental folk who was randomly born with it.
Someone in her family history was with an elemental, and she is the one who happened to get it. She, compared to her entire family, is different. To her eyes, everyone who's moving perfectly is moving like a puppet on a string. Nothing out of place, nothing unwanted, everything manufactured.
Does Mina do anything seeing this? Well, for most other lives it would be a normal occurrence, but for you it's watching a performance, but one that's gotten very stale.
She would very much try and leave because she doesn't want to be anywhere near this place.
Simple enough. You get up, start to leave, and I think in the dream you hear one of your family members, I'll let you decide which. Oh, that's just typical of you, isn't it?
You're one to talk about typical. Never do anything different. Never try anything new. Never try. Just dancing on the strings of the one you wish to curry favor with.
I think there's no response because this is your dream. Could I now get... I think Mina's dream, simple enough. Mina doesn't have an internal conflict. Her conflicts are external. Could I now get a d20 roll between Ember and Jared?
All right.
7.
4.
Wow, did not change. Ember, you find yourself similarly at a dinner table. What does Ember imagine his parents and sister look like?
Yeah, because the thing is, I don't remember if this has been specifically stated, but Ember does not remember what his parents look like or what they sounded like, and that is a particularly upsetting thing for him. And I think with his... I don't know, I think with his parents, I think because they're both Shatterkai, and I feel like they just kind of look like people who look like Ember, kind of older. They'd be about 170 at this point. I imagine like their hands would be like very kind of worn, since they both do a lot of physical labor and stuff. So I think, but I don't think there's anything that's like specific to Ember. I feel like there's kind of just a vagueness there, where it's like he knows these are his parents, but he still can't like picture them.
All right. And does he have any particular image of his sister, or just similar? I guess what she might look like, similar to me.
Similar, but the other thing is like he doesn't know exactly how old she is. She just knows that like the first time she went looking for him was about 70 years ago, so can kind of guess sort of from there. So it's like, okay, so it's in between like, 80 and 100 is somewhere in there, but I feel like with Ainsling, like he's like even more having trouble like pinning something down, and I feel like she would almost like kind of shift a bit, like her appearance like throughout the dream wouldn't necessarily be consistent.
Alright. So I think you're having a nice dinner with them, and then that's eventually you notice that sitting next to you is Autumn in her nicest dress. And her mom is also there at the table with you. Does anything particular happen at this dinner? Or is it just a nice dinner with the people in Ember's life? Sorry for putting you on the spot.
No, you're fine. I'm just thinking. I feel like it would be kind of going like normally for a while, but I think eventually like it would kind of turn into something where it's like everyone else is talking to each other and he's just kind of there, and like no one's really paying attention to him, and like he doesn't even really have anything to say. It's like, it's almost kind of like he's on the other side of a glass wall and just kind of feels very just stiff and hollow, and like he's the feeling he's experienced many times of just not really being a whole person.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about this, and I think, would it be fine for me to reveal where you were planning on going? Just setting the scene?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's, as this is happening, you look down at your hands, and it's not skin, it's porcelain. And you find yourself unable to speak. And I think in particular, you may not be able to necessarily see it directly, but you know that there are cracks there where you were wounded in the shoulder. You know that those cracks are always going to be there. And I think that's where Ember wakes up, but we will finish the dream sequences there.
Mm-hmm.
Jared, how do you
Yeah.
imagine your patron appearing?
Jared
rather-
imagines.
Your former patron.
Yeah. Jared imagines him as a an almost stereotypical Death Knight kind of thing, where it's a dark armor, dark plate armor, very much accentuated to have um to have it's meant to be functional as good armor, but also intimidating with spikes and skull designs, but very specifically that his weapon always can change. Well, less always changes and more changes to the situation at hand. It could be a bow, it could be a greatsword, it could be a dagger, it could be whatever he wants it to be at any particular moment. And the most identifying feature is that where the helmet for the armor should be is instead pure black fire that yeah, it's pure black fire with eyes peering out from it. If for a visual reference, Kurogiri from My Hero Academia
Nice.
is the kind of thing I imagine.
Jared,
And yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's it. Just me not knowing how to finish things, so I just say "and yeah" a lot.
Jared, you feel in the dream bruised, weakened, tired. But you look down, you're holding the sword you had commissioned, the great sword of wounding, wicked in shape. I think the same shape as the sword in the trial that you passed up. Your armor is decorated in critical points with large golden scales. You think you know where these came from. Taken by force. You feel like yourself. Powerful. Angry. But you've used this anger to purge the world of evils. You can do this as you are. And I think there's a pride there, if you let there be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
the figure of your patron ahead of you is bound to your will by golden thread. He himself, severely weakened, possibly would have collapsed if not held up by that thread. What do you do?
Jared stands tall. He has won. He is victorious. And beyond that, he is the strongest now. He grips his great sword and instead of going for a killing blow by stabbing the figure in front of him, he cuts the thread and lets the form fall to the ground. How does it feel to be as helpless as you made each one of us?
There is no response from the figure.
You are no god. You can die. And finally, I am the one to kill you. And he raises his greatsword with both hands and does a simple, efficient downward strike. In another time, he may have relished the moment. Now, he just wants it to be over.
Alright. And now, Eni. Has Eni ever dreamed before?
That is a good question.
Because of her situation, I imagine she hasn't.
I would agree. I would, if it's all right with you, I would say maybe fleet memories of her host would pass in and out, essentially, as she sleeps.
Well, this time, it's not that.
Fair enough.
Eni, you find yourself in the walls of some strange building, some strange structure, watching 4 figures traverse down the halls as we check in with our survivors. What has everyone been up
Panicking.
to?
Analyzing?
Hey, do you want to try going down this hallway? I know it looks like this other hallway that we just went down, but like, you know, maybe this is a different one?
Eventually,
Everywhere
we
go back to the same place. Everything goes nowhere. Everything goes
That's
nowhere.
what Annika's doing.
I love
It has to
panic.
go somewhere eventually. We'll be fine. Come on.
Everything goes nowhere. Nothing goes to where it's supposed to. Everything goes nowhere. Everything goes nowhere.
Yeah, Soda would follow behind, but definitely seem anxious as they go through.
I mean,
My
if you want to stay here, I could go on ahead to check out everything.
no, it's best to stick together. If we don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
I feel as if things will just get worse if we separate.
And
Alright.
we stick together. We keep pushing forward, and
Bad if
there
we
has to be
go,
some.
worse if we stay.
Pretty much. There's got to be some kind of pattern or some kind of method to this. Something we're missing.
I agree. So let's keep going. Everyone behind me. And she has sword and shield up, just ready to go forward.
Alright. Eni, do you follow these 4 people?
You would?
Alright. Sorry, there's an announcement
Okay.
on our Amazon robot. Needed to mute my mic for that.
Fair.
You all eventually come to a room where one of the walls is a black crystal.
Can I make some sort of roll to investigate it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to do the
I
same.
don't know if there's any proficiencies.
Someone
so
has to poke the spooky thing.
I mean, I have a +3 Arcana, so
I don't know. You can roll Arcana. If it would be intelligence check or like the Arcana, you could roll Arcana.
Okay. Well, I have a minus
Oh.
1 to intelligence, so let's go with that.
that's
12.
that's a total of 22. 19
Whoa.
plus 3.
That's a
Oh,
3.
boy.
Okay, so this definitely looks like a crystal. And then she just kind of pats the wall. Yep.
With a 23, you put your hands on the crystal, and you feel there's a magic there. You can activate that magic.
There's magic in this. I can activate it. It's something new. It's better than just wandering endlessly in darkness, so shall we see what this does?
I think so.
If you think it's safe enough.
I don't know if it's safe, but it's better than being trapped in an endless maze, so
Why'd you have to tell me?
I love it. I love this guy so much.
I'm actually crying.
Perfect. Perfect. And with a little bit of an I'm sorry chuckle, Mai will try to interact with and activate the dormant magic lying within the crystal.
It's easy enough, and projecting from it is a point of view video. Whatever figure this is looking over a landscape, and then they look down, and you can see the two armies advancing on them. But calmly, the figure just begins waving their hands casually casting spells, and the armies are not able to advance far. That is when a dragon with iron scales, a war dragon, comes down. It attacks the figure and is actually able to challenge them, forcing them back a bit. But it's an even fight, and eventually the figure raises a hand, blasts the dragon with magic, which leaves massive scars all over its face. The dragon loses an eye, loses all of the horns on that side, and in it the pain collapses. The figure then raises a hand again to cast a spell, but reacts casually. Looking down, they see the point of a javelin through their chest, and turning, see a Jotun warrior. The warrior attacks the figure, and it's definitely not as close as against the dragon, but as the Jotun warrior is about to die, the dragon strikes the figure again, sending them reeling back. Getting back up, the figure then freezes. Looking down, they see the shadowy form of their hands begin to unravel. They glance to see a circle of mages, each holding an object. It's unclear for most of them. But Eni and Sona, you do see that hat. At the center of the circle is a hooded figure holding a filigree staff. You can barely make out the bracer, also filigree, on that same arm. I'm really not sorry about this. You're a bigger threat than anyone. And the vision of the crystal fades away. How does everyone react to that?
Tor is covering his eyes but looking through his fingers.
Mai was taking notes on everything that she could see and just with writing with a speed analogous to a speed typer, just getting as many details down as she could. And then once she's done writing, she says, "It was some kind of vision."
I would say
Was
to
it?
clarify, this is something that hasn't come up in the lore of the campaign yet, because you haven't dealt with any Empire stuff. It is extraordinary that it was a Jotun and a dragon working together, because famously, the Empire and the territories had been in a massive war that, even though it ended well over 1,000 years ago by the present day of the campaign, there are still very tense relationships between the two lands because of that war.
Mm-hmm.
To quote one of my favorite flavor texts, hatred outlives the hateful.
Yep.
Yeah. And is the lingering resent something that just that everyone would know here?
Yeah,
Just
it is
general. Okay.
it is something that, like, I will not even need. That does not need a history check. That is common knowledge on the continent that the Empire and the territories hate each other.
Okay. So then, slightly gonna change Mai's response of some kind of vision, I think, but dragons and
Whatever it
Yons
was.
together.
I did not like it.
Annika is gonna go over and I'm sorry, Ismara, what's your character's name?
Tor, because
Tor.
I'm really bad at coming up with names.
Mm-hmm. Annika's gonna just check on Corn. It's like,
Tor.
hey, you alright?
No. I haven't been alright since we got here. Wherever here is, however we got here, I actually think I may not have been alright a single day in my life.
Okay. Well, whatever's going on here, we're gonna figure it out, and
I don't want to figure it out. I want to go home.
And what if
Well,
figuring it out is how we get home?
Then I only care about the latter. This is far beyond me. This is far beyond any of us. I don't want to be in the middle of it. I know I'm stuck here, but I don't want to deal.
Annika's just gonna put a hand on her shoulder and just say it's like, we get you through this. Okay? I promise. I'm gonna do everything I can to get you through this.
I will hold you to that.
Well, if I want to be a knight someday, that's my job. Sona. you have any ideas?
As you turn to Sona, she is staring back at the spot on the crystal where the figure was holding the hat. And she is trembling as she just as she just has her hands up to her mouth.
Are you okay?
Nothing done.
Huh?
Nothing. I'm alright.
Eni, you feel a resonance to that vision. Whatever you are, that's a memory. That's your memory. But maybe not your memory, if that makes sense.
Somewhat.
That basically, that memory existed before Eni did. I think is the best way to sum up what I was
Gotcha.
trying to get across.
Gotcha. Okay. No
Mhm.
worries. This is Dream. It's cryptic.
Yeah. And I think that's when everyone wakes up.
I guess Ever doesn't need as much sleep, so I feel like he already would have been up. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like he probably just does a lot of work just, with camp stuff, and probably has made a habit of having breakfast going for the others, so.
All
Just
right.
to get himself to do something so he doesn't have to think about other stuff.
Like his parents.
Or his sister.
Or the crush he totally doesn't have.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah.
Especially that last one.
Ember would hear
Squint.
Mina muttering to herself in her sleep, and it does not look restful.
I think in that case, when gets up, he'll bring over some breakfast and kind of stretching in a way where I feel like he's still sore after yesterday. But with the almost dying. And he'll say, hey, you doing alright?
No coherent response, because she is still asleep. It
Oh,
just doesn't
I meant
look
after
like-
she woke up, I'm sorry.
Oh, all good, all good, all good. I misunderstood. Mina will look a bit tiredly at Ember and go, been better. Dream, not one that I'm used to, but very similar to one that I've had more than once. At least the strings weren't on me this time.
Yeah, I didn't sleep the best either. And is kind of just like moving around, specifically like his left shoulder almost, or his like left arm, just to make sure like yes, everything still works.
And Mina doesn't quite have her usual stoic demeanor at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not her usual full monotone either. Something seems to be really bothering her.
You want to talk about it?
Once she's trying to center herself.
Mm-hmm.
Once I've gathered my thoughts, I wouldn't be adverse to it.
Okay.
And as she's talking, you can see her readjusting to be more how she is comfortable. Like
Okay.
mentally, not like moving, but just you see in her body language she is taking more control of herself.
Okay. Oh, and also, would you be able to, you can, do the sending spell, right?
Yes.
Okay.
At this point, Mina will have changed her spells prepared to have sending prepared. Would we have had a long rest actually?
Yes.
Okay, marking off the long
Not the
rest.
most restful long rest, but a long rest nonetheless.
Stress streams.
Yay.
And she now has the sending spell prepared. I just need
Okay.
to figure out which spell she is unpreparing for it.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, okay, I'm gonna ask, Jared if I could, borrow the ring so that way you don't have to say anything on my behalf.
Okay. Just to note what spell she swapped out, blindness deafness was swapped for sending.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
But yeah. And with that, how's Jared doing?
He... Let's see. He wakes up, relatively slowly. First he just opens his eyes. He sits there for a couple of minutes. Then he takes a deep breath, stands up, and then gets to work on basically breaking down his specific section of camp and making sure all of his stuff is all of his items, personal effects, equipment, etc. are on his person or ready to be moved whenever.
Okay, I think, Ember, with Ginger in tow and maybe, like, bringing over some food is gonna just set the food down next to her, and it's like, hey, didn't get a chance yesterday, but, thanks for getting me up.
Of course. That's all I said. It's just, well, of course.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
No, you're good. You're
I'm
good.
a socially awkward person playing an even more socially awkward character. I'm trying to figure out how to continue the conversation. I think he'll say, God, how do I words this?
You want to words this?
Yeah.
How do you want to word this?
English is hard. Take your time.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, because I think you have picked up on what, Zeldin, you mentioned off session, Jared being a lot more distant with the party ever since they,
Yeah.
moved the city, and he's trying to figure out how to kind of bring that up.
In the meanwhile, while Ember is thinking, Jared just
What was Miranda thinking? Like,
yeah. In the meanwhile,
okay.
he he picks up the food that was brought for him, nods in appreciation, and starts eating.
Mhm. Okay, I think. Okay, there are two. Okay, there are two ways. Okay, I think I'll. Okay, I think. Oh God,
Go for it.
I'm kind of like, okay, do I want to like have Ember be more direct with his with what he wants to say, or do I want to say something that's kind of a non sequitur but like might be a little bit better? I don't know.
Go for the go for your gut instinct. Don't think, just act.
Okay. Ember's just very to the point. He's pronounced sleeve. I think I'll just say been noticed you keeping to yourself a lot, and if you're not doing okay, I would like you to say it, and if what I said before we left the city made it worse, I am sorry.
He pauses as he was eating, and he sets the bowl down for a moment and simply says, "It wasn't anything that you said before we left. This is something else." And then he seems to be debating whether or not to say more. And eventually he says, "If you can only trust one thing at the very least, trust that. It's not what you said. Thank you for the food." And he picks up the meal, and he is being self-isolating and stepping away to continue and finish his meal.
I think as he goes, like, as he gets up, Ember's just gonna say, like, okay, just one quick thing, and then I'll stop bothering you. When I was recovering after I got out, one thing that I was told is that people around you can't do anything to help you deal with something if you don't talk to them about it and explain that there's something wrong. So I want to help you, and I'm sure the others do too, so whenever you're ready. And he's gonna start to
Jared,
walk away and then realize, oh fuck, I'm so sorry. Could I borrow the spell storing ring? I want to try and get word to Autumn and my family about all of
He-
that. I'll get it
yeah.
done as soon as I can.
Even before the explanation could be fully finished, he takes off the ring and flicks it towards Ember.
Okay, what's the what check do I have to make to catch it?
Nah, I don't think there's anything required for that. It's a very simple, it's very telegraphed, just
All right.
I mean, if you
Whatever.
still want, if you still want dexterity.
Okay, well, I rolled a 7 and I have +4 acrobatics, so that's 11. So can we say it was a DC 10?
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
you get it.
Yeah. So he does that, and
And one thing that Jared would finish off with as before he walks away is how would he phrase this best?
haha, now you're the one trying to figure out how to words.
I attempted the first trial 4 times and succeeded on the 4th. The first was, as one would expect, I did what I do best. I fight and I attempt to kill. My second attempt, I attempted to restrain my adversary, to grapple, to bind, and to ensure that there is no way to break my grasp and continue hostilities. When that failed, my third attempt was to fight in frustration. The fourth, final, and successful attempt was speaking with the entity that wore my face. If only that approach was the one taken before the trials began. I was surprised when restraining the adversary was not the answer. How can I trust any of you to help me when your first instinct is not to confront me, to tell me that there was another, and instead conspire behind my back. I thought, at the very least, that we were all upfront about using each other for our own designs. I thought we could trust that we would be more obvious, more upfront with such acts. But no, there was no confrontation. There was subterfuge. And he will take a deep breath and very simply say, "Let it be known that the first act of aggression, so classified by my first trial, was when you tried to restrain me. And let it be known that perhaps you should all learn from your own trials before trying to force your own ideals down my throat." And he walks away.
And I think Ember just stands there for a minute, thinking about what Jared said, and then he goes to find Mina.
Mina hasn't really moved from where she was on the bed, just getting herself centered and slowly eating what Ember had provided.
Okay, got the ring. I think I'll need to cast it once, and then I use it, and then cast it again.
Alright, 1 3rd level sending cast into the ring.
Okay. So, the first one is... I wrote this down ahead of time because I feel like that's fair, since he would have been able to plan it out, so... Okay. I believe that this is all exactly 25 words, so... So I think he... after an hour where he's attuned to it, he... casts it and just feels the energy flow through him, and kind of that connection to Autumn, and says, "I've made enemies with the Tyrant since the Wellspring's defeat. He knows about you and my family. I'm so sorry. Please stay safe. And then it cuts off. Does Autumn respond?
Yes. Just trying to think of how exactly. I think she'll say, thank you, and don't apologize. Mom is pretty strong. I should be somewhat safe. I can find your parents if you want.
Okay, and he is not able to respond.
If asked,
I-
Mina will cast a second sending into
Yeah,
the ring.
well, he is gonna do another one.
Okay.
So
I think
Another
you, before you
third level spell
can,
slot down.
Autumn sends a sending to you. You don't know magic, so you can respond this way.
Oh yeah, and she doesn't know that like he has the headband now, so he now has +8 Arcana. So. I think gonna say like I am okay. I need to count this. I am able to get word to Teocta. Gonna go to you as soon as I can. Tell Ainsling I hope she's doing okay.
All right. You.
Okay, and I does Autumn want to burn another Sunday?
She does not.
Okay. Yeah, she kind of needs those, you know.
Yeah.
So when Mina casts the second one, I am not going to tell anyone besides the DM who this is to. So
Oh, that's fun.
oh yeah, and also the sending to Autumn was spoken in Infernal, so I think Eni would have been able to eavesdrop on it, but I'm not sure anyone else would have.
I got Abyssal.
Yeah. And then the second one he's doing is in Elvish, which I think no one besides Ember knows. So but yeah. But he's going to once again try to reach out and try to make the connection, and once the connection's there, he's gonna say, may this warning come in time. The House of Camus has angered the tyrant. Your family must keep an eye out for danger. Tread carefully.
I will DM you the response you get, but it's basically
Okay.
like, just to keep it secret who exactly is being sent to, but it's basically summarized as like, thank you for the warning, whoever you are.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I actually could I roll a deception check because Ember's trying to have the person he's sending it to not figure out who he is.
Yeah. You can do it at advantage because through sending you have 25 words.
Okay. So. Natural 19.
Ooh, -1.
Or,
Luckstone.
No, Oh, no, wait! I would have had to unattune to the Luckstone, so
Ah.
that's 18.
Okay. It's still good enough.
Mhm. Okay, so I think with that he takes a deep exhale, and is gonna say, one more thing, Mina. I think you're gonna need to talk to Jared about the trial. I don't think he took it in the way you intended.
Okay. But before I do that, I'm feeling enough to tell you what was bothering me so much about the dream.
Okay. I was gonna sit down on the bed next to her, and Ginger's gonna be at Mina's feet.
Oh,
Yeah,
I forgot
I
you guys are using the beds. I'm still on the
It's
combat
fine.
map.
It's fine.
been
It's fine
3
because we're going to leave we were going to leave anyway, so the map doesn't matter since
Yeah.
we're not searching or doing anything. Mina will take a breath and look uncomfortable before exhaling and looking more vulnerable than Ember has ever seen her. I dreamed of my family. As I said before, I dream of them sometimes, but this time was different. My family, as I mentioned, are under the tyrant, but they like it. They like the fact that they don't have to make decisions, that they just do what they're told. I'm different in more than just my rebellion and the following of the Destroyer. As I was born different because I am Genasi. They are elves. Was always treated differently. Always because I never really fit in, if only by looks. And I was expected to do everything I was told without question. Obviously, it was not something that sat well with me, and I would rebel in small ways. This dream, usually when I have it, I mentioned the strings. Everyone, including myself, are just puppets on strings doing what the tyrant wants. Everything in its proper place, everything done perfectly, everything done right. Nobody trying anything, nothing different. Nobody learning, nobody trying. This time was different, and I was the only one without the strings. I resent them for not trying to make something of themselves other than exactly what they've been told to.
I'm sorry you grew up around all that.
Until I found the Destroyer, until I found that finding your own way could be a viable path, I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was aberrant, that everything I did was wrong.
I know it's not exactly the same, but from what I remember of trying to learn magic, it's like there was a particular shape that I was supposed to be in, and no matter what, I just couldn't get there, and I just remember just feeling so just wrong. I
That's
guess.
exactly it. We had to be perfect in the role that was chosen for us. That's why I'm so focused on people finding their own way and change and learning and growing. Because outside of it just being the teachings of my goddess, of not being stagnant, of changing, of breaking, it's the exact opposite of what I was being told to do, of what I was being forced to do. So in the end, I don't know if it's necessarily what I want, other than it's the opposite of what he wanted.
Well, if we ever do run into your family, I'm gonna make sure to tell them that they should have appreciated you.
Thank you, but unfortunately, anything you tell my family, if it's not exactly what they think they're supposed to hear, if it's not what the tyrant has told them they're supposed to hear, will effectively go in one ear and right out the other.
Doesn't mean I'm not gonna try.
Thank you.
And they'll say, "Would you like a hug?"
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Gonna give her just good solid squeeze.
I'm tempted to jokingly say roll strength.
Plenty tough, so I don't think that would.
Sure, why not? Those, 8 plus, oh, what is it? Is it, yeah, 8 plus 4, so 12, so,
Decent hug.
alright. Okay.
After a minute of this, Mina will basically get her game face back on and say, I'm going to go clear the air with Jared. Letting things fester is only going to lead to more problems.
I think we should also, talk to Eni, since, she was the one who said to keep him distracted, so I think you can say your piece, but I think we all should sit down and try and figure out how we can build trust.
Mina will nod.
Okay. I'll go find Eni. You can talk to Jared, and I'll give her back the spell storing ring. So.
Alright. How does...
Mina will then hand the ring back to Ember, Unless you want me to give this back to Jared, I think you should. It's not mine.
Right. Sorry.
It's fine.
Oh, I wish I slept better. And Ember's gonna just try and find Eni. How's Eni doing?
Eni has been quiet this morning, as she has been off on her own, preoccupied.
How are you this morning?
Huh? Oh,
Let me just roll that. That one.
Oh no.
It's fine. You'll see that as she looks around, you'll see her inner hand looking at the shard of the Shadowfell, and after a quick few seconds, she'll put it back into her hat.
what's up?
I was talking with Jared a bit earlier, and I think we're gonna have to all sit down and talk with him, since when you messaged me to try and keep him distracted and stop anything before it started, I think we might have all breached some trust there. Definitely did. What am I saying?
Still not
So-
over that?
Hmm?
Still not over that?
I mean, I kind of get it, I suppose. So,
Alright.
well, it doesn't have to be right now, but we're gonna have to.
Well, if this is such a problem with him, then we should deal with it now.
Alright. Well,
And Eni will
I.
start walking over to where Jared is.
Yeah, Ember's gonna go and follow her because he still needs to give the ring back.
Alright.
Yeah.
And for
I think-
Mina, that was being subtle.
Yep. So is everyone just like going over to say hi to Jared, who's trying to self-isolate?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like he wants to talk about this. We'll
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah, I think Ember's gonna go up and say it's like, hey, and then we'll toss the ring back. So
He catches the ring, puts it back on.
okay. I guess the other two are here with me as well.
Mhm.
Just this will say. Well, we're ready to
Ember
talk about
says
what you told me
you-
earlier.
Ember says you have issues with me.
I
Edie's
think Ember just
tearing
takes
off
a
the
deep breath
bandage.
in and a deep breath out.
That is the most Edie move, and I'm surprised none of us expected it.
I love it. I love it.
Based on what Ember said, it's not just you, it's with all of us and how things were handled.
Which part of it?
Because I'm having trouble words today, I'm not gonna say, but I'm basically just gonna recap everything that Jared said.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I was given a choice between being a part of the trial and doing what I could to possibly help you, and watching somebody who I had traveled with and worked with, and someone who I was growing to enjoy the company of, because we are more similar than either of us would probably like to admit, be killed. I may have not chosen the exact correct thing, but I had to choose something. And, well,
And
we're both
and
lucky to.
I was given the choice. The same choice that I am always given, to adapt or to die.
I'd rather a chance than none at all.
It may have been a chance, but it was none of that was a choice.
And I agree with that. It was not handled the way it probably should have, but I didn't have much of a choice either.
And even before that, I thought you, of all of us, would be the one to be confrontational about this. You said it yourself, you're as subtle as a brick. So why not
I am.
confront me? Any of you.
What makes you think I had the time or the chance to?
You had the time to conspire. You had the time to apparently get the plan together. Each of you contributed.
If you can call what happened a plan. We ran into her, and then it was messaged to keep you away and distracted. I didn't have a chance to talk to you. I didn't have a chance to do anything. The choice was taken from you, and the chance to do something was taken from you, and I don't necessarily agree with that.
At the very least, we can agree on something.
But one thing you have to admit is that we are both predictable in what we usually will do. And maybe in this case that call was incorrect.
It was, actually. The first that we found, we were going to kill anyway. The second that we found, it was just business, but that one was personal. This was the second time we had run into her. That in itself says something. I didn't know who it was until I saw that it was Janaka. The most I had to go on was your suspicious behavior, pointing to Ember, and my holy symbol burning. And as soon as I am close enough to actually see who it is, My wrist is grabbed. I am shocked, surprised. I break free. And then I am restrained. All of you restrained me.
I didn't want a further fight in the Matron's city because we had been warned already. I may have made a bad call there, but I own that I fucked up.
And neither did I. In the interrogation, I was truthful. I would have challenged her. If she accepted, then we would leave the city, go a fair distance out. Single combat. If she had denied, then that would be the end of the matter. But no,
Mina is going to insight Jared on this.
Oh yeah.
hey, go ahead. Go ahead.
Player knows you're telling the
7.
truth. Character doesn't.
Yeah.
That's a 10.
7, 10, alright. Is Ember rolling that as well?
Ember has something to say once Mina's done.
For Jared,
Mhm.
do not roll physical die if you have one. Just don't let us see the modifier or what specific skill you're rolling, just in case.
Alright, let me see. Where is my dice? There are my dice.
Ooh, 10 on a +8.
And both times I rolled it, it rolled off the table. I'm going to get a different d20.
it
Let's
doesn't
just say
like you.
Mina's not really on her game right now.
That's perfectly fair. It's perfectly understandable. Should I say the total number? Should I?
Total number,
Well,
please.
actually, okay. The total number is 15.
Alright, so I'd
Mina
say
will look
you...
crestfallen because she's realizing how much of a mistake she made, and this is more emotion than than Jared has seen out of her.
He actually takes notice of that.
I may be too quick to act and too quick to judge sometimes. Jared will see Mina, who's usually so straightforward, so able to get across what she's trying to say, struggle with words. Something with her isn't quite right.
He will. His attention was like more or less evenly distributed throughout everyone as he was accusing them of their improper actions at the city, and he shifts his attention mostly to Mina now.
She's
Noticing
going
that
through a
she's
gamut of revelations and thoughts, and her expressions changing. And then under her breath, you'll hear, "I did to you what was being done to me." No monotone in that, just actual full proper emotion.
Yeah, no, that makes him do like not quite a double take, but just like blue screen for a couple of seconds trying to register, wait, Mina emoted?
Put you in a place that you were supposed to be and supposed to follow. It's the opposite of everything I stand for. Yeah, Mina's having a bit of blue screen moment right now.
Okay. Can Ember say something? Or
Go
are
ahead.
you not done? Okay.
Yeah, Mina's kind of just, as I said, stuck on a little bit of a blue screen at the moment.
I wish I had stopped you during the raid on the ship from killing the captain. That's why I was so hasty. But that didn't help. And it just made everything worse. Always making everything worse, Tashin. And he's just gonna start walking away and saying, I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused you. And is just gonna walk away because he's back to feeling like he just makes everything worse.
As Ember is walking away, he will say, "Your apology is appreciated, Ember, and is under consideration."
Yeah. Hey, tell you what, something you can do to feel better. And he reaches down into his shirt and pulls out a necklace, and he tosses it over to Jared.
Catches it.
Okay. You see it's this little the pendant is a wooden carved dragonfly, and there's a little bit of like elvish carved onto the back of one of the wings. And he just says, "Yeah, do me a favor. Could you burn that?" And is just gonna continue walking away.
Still holding onto it, he just stares at it for a moment and then back to Ember, confused. And he pockets it for now. And then he, seeing how Ember is walked away from the situation, Mina has blue screened. Jared is going to look over to Edie now and say, "And what of you?"
Are you expecting to guilt trip me? Because I still think you're full of shit.
He crosses his arms, smirking almost that, all right, this is kind of normal compared to this is compared to everyone else being somewhat abnormal behavior. This is more normal. This is something he's used to. All right then. And light.
My apologies if I was too hasty, but at the same time, I believe the others were right. And it's why I acted first. So if you have anyone to blame, it would be me. I chose to act before everyone else. Because I can't tell if you're being honest or not about this whole honor thing. She does with quotation marks. Because when I look into your eyes, I see that of a predator. Even if you don't get what you want then and there, you'll still hunt after them.
There are always other avenues. I do agree that I probably... No. That I definitely needed something to change. I agree that something needed to happen eventually. But that moment, that method, whatever any of that was, it was just the same. Maybe not in execution, but boiling it down to its base method of be how we want you to be or die. It's the same thing that I've always known.
You hear Mina whisper upon that is, it's exactly how die basically was, except instead of physical death, it was death of self, how I was expected to be.
You do have a point. That was extreme. But on the other hand, next time, do you want us to put you down? As she says that, you'll see a very cold darkness in her eyes. Because if that's what you wish, next time we could be a lot, or at least I can be a lot less merciful.
Is it safe to say that perhaps from Eni's perspective, she flashes back to that memory and
100%.
laying waste to armies?
I would say that in reaction, Jared's old anger flares up again. What I expect, what I want, is nothing more than to kill my enemies and to live. Boiling it down to the simplest of terms. And what I expect from each of you was to, at very least, if we can't trust each other to act in the group's best interest. No, let me rephrase that. If you can't trust me to act in the group's best interest, then how could I trust any of you to help me, as you so claim that you're doing? How can I trust any of you to have my best interest in mind?
You sure like throwing that word around. Trust. It's a two-way street.
Because we were very obvious with all of us using each other for our own means. You may not have been able to trust me not to kill, but I expect at the very least to be more upfront like that. Like that meaning to be upfront rather than anything else. Phrasing escaped as I was talking.
Fine. You want it like that? We'll play it your way then. Let's do this whole duel thing for whenever we run into these targets of yours. Or if they attack you first. However, if you hunt them down, I think, then you should be held accountable.
That's what you all were doing anyway. Keeping me accountable. Watching for if I start to slide back into my old methods. Then simply do as the matron bid you to do.
Yeah, Eni will just look at him, just glaring, and then just shakes her head. Arguing with you is pointless. You'll never learn. And she'll just start walking off after Ember.
Apologies, attention was needed elsewhere for refilling.
You're fine. I don't know how to add anything because Mina is a little bit checked out right now.
After Eni walks off, Jared is going to Jared is going to close his eyes, take deep breaths, and try his best to calm down. And seeing how Mina is still not in the best of ways, he's going to try to walk in her field of vision and try in his best attempt at a calm voice at this current moment. going to say, "Are you alright?"
She has a vice grip with both hands on her hammer. And to echo what was said before, though she doesn't know it, I don't know if I've been okay a day in my life. And her voice still sounds a little small.
He very hesitantly he is not used to the whole emotions other than anger thing. But he's just very hesitantly going to raise one hand and noticing the vice grip just
It's not like she's going to attack with it. It's more like the grip of someone who is holding
Yeah.
onto something for comfort.
Yeah. He's gonna raise his hand and noticing the vice grip just put one of his hands on top of one of hers. And say, "Oh, what will he say? You know, he needs.
Didn't expect to have Mina break today, did you?
No, I didn't.
If it's okay, could I have an NPC come in?
Not just yet.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, he does go through with just gentle hand on top of Mina's, and I think he tries to say something meaningful, something. He tries to search for the words to just fix it, to just have everything be how things were, of Eni and Jared affectionately bickering at each other, and Mina being the blunt, stoic force that he remembers, and just having Ember being the moral compass that he's supposed to follow, or that Jared is supposed to follow. Pronoun reference. Gotta be more clear with that. But instead of some profound statement, he just very simply says, "I'm sorry."
I'd rather know than not. I'd rather be told that I made a mistake, that I'm not being who I should be and what I should be. Not determined by someone else. I'm never going to let someone else determine who or what I should be again, but I shouldn't be forcing that on others. Like I said, I didn't have much of a choice when it came to the trial, or at least having one, and I thought, based on how things had prior gone, that it would be a possible useful lesson as opposed to going the same path every time. I didn't realize how much it would affect you. I just want people to be able to be themselves.
Being yourself is a very difficult thing when you don't even know who you are.
And she's going to take a breath, and her expression's going to become the more closer to the familiar expression that Jared's used to. I mentioned this to Ember, but I don't know if you heard. As I've mentioned, I grew up under the Tyrant's reign. I am the only Genasi in my family's memory. The rest of them were elves. And they were only happy with doing what they were told. No self-expression, no thoughts of their own, only doing exactly what they were told. I broke free of that, and I want to break everyone free of the tyrants. And the fact that I was effectively a part of doing something similar to you, words cannot cover how apologetic I am. While I am not necessarily sorry that Janaka got away, I am definitely sorry that I was a part of taking you away from who you are, even if that may not have been necessarily who you want to be anymore. You should have been able to discover that on your own and make your own choices, not have them forced on you.
Thank you. And your apology is accepted.
Mina will take a breath and nod. If I'm ever stepping beyond what I should, please tell me. I don't want to be like them, not ever again.
I understand. And I am sorry for everything leading up to now.
You shouldn't apologize for being yourself. As I said, it may not have necessarily been who you wanted to be, but it's who you wanted to be at the time. I am a blunt instrument. I am not good at subtlety. Maybe we should at some point possibly try and commune with the Destroyer, see if she can help teach me how to be better about these sorts of things, about the change, and maybe she can help you find something about yourself.
Maybe.
If anything, your lady's more of a blunt instrument than you are.
Immediately summons the great sword and points it in the direction of the new voice.
It is the same old Mander woman who you met on the road.
You again.
Yes.
Maybe so, but she has better perspective than I do.
Better or longer? They're not quite
What's the difference
same.
in this case?
The difference is that her perspective is quite narrow. She herself is a force of neutrality on the world. In her actions, she's the result of many great good. But herself, she only cares about the ruin. to her, it doesn't matter what grows from the ashes. Only the ashes. Without her sisters, this world would be a wasteland. Or perhaps even worse. There would be
And
no...
she wouldn't argue with that.
Yes. But I fear that if you go to her, you would only continue down the same limited perspective.
And what
And
perspective
you're
are you trying to offer?
Change is not only destruction, it's not only altering what's there, but we also are who we are. And there's more than one way to learn that. And I think that's where we will end for tonight, exactly on time.
Man, what an
I
RP session.
I
Yeah.
am very glad I got to show more of Mina than just the stoic front that she usually puts up.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was
That's-
fun doing a much more angry Edie as well.
Yeah.
As Zeldin knows, I'm a little too good at doing the breakdown RP.
Yeah. Joy, I caused the party divorce. Hooray!
Zeldin, let's talk about plans about what may happen with Jared in case he gets too mad and leaves the party. But yeah,
Yeah.
because also that's fun. That's a fun possibility. Because then we'd also get to
Mhm.
see what happens to him.
Mm-hmm.
Though I do think Mina actually breaking like that may have possibly helped plant the seeds
Oh,
of
yeah.
him staying.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank
And
you.
Ember breaking down is just a normal Tuesday.
Normal Monday.
Right,
Yeah.
sorry, Monday.
But yeah, thank you
Ah,
everyone in chat who showed
Mondays.
up. Thank you, players. This was great.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
for
yeah.
running.
Thank you for running, as always.
I just prepared the dreams. See you, chat. Bye.
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 See y'all.